So I just watched a movie called Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, released in 2001, a movie that cost $137 million to make, but only made $85 million in the box office. And in this video, I'll be explaining why. But first, I want to tell you that this movie has nothing to do with the original Final Fantasy story. Instead, it's a whole new story meant to be a realistic and dramatic departure from the original fantasy games. So get ready, cause you're about to watch a review and analysis of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within from the eyes of a CG artist. Here's a brief history. In the early 2000s, Square, now known as Square Enix, established a company on the side called Square Pictures, which was dedicated to creating full feature-length animated films. The first film that they decided to make would be Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, directed by Hironobu Sakaguchi, the creator of the Final Fantasy series. He wanted to tell a story inspired by his own struggles with depression and the human condition. So a team of 200 people were assembled and the production began in 1997. Here's the plot of the movie. So the film takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where mysterious, alien-like entities known as the Phantoms have invaded Earth, causing widespread destruction and death. The story follows Aki Ross, a young scientist who has dedicated her life to finding a way to defeating the Phantoms and saving humanity. She is aided by a team of scientists and soldiers, including her mentor, Dr. Sid, and a group of elite soldiers known as the Deep Ground Unit. As Aki and her team search for a way to defeat the Phantoms, they discover that the creatures are actually the manifestation of humanity's collective unconscious, whatever that means, and that the only way to defeat them is to understand and confront the deep-seated fears and emotions that drive them. Now, I thought the story was pretty cool, and they executed it pretty well with the technology that they had. Speaking of the technology, let's talk about it.
Whoop. Here I come.
We didn't exactly know how it would look, and there was just really, I knew there's a moon, I knew there is a sun, and I knew it's some kind of sunrise situation. And look at the Hawaiian skies, which are just incredible, and just start to experiment. And for about 5 or 6 or 7 days.
For when the Black Boa is flying down the streets of New York, we went and took photographs of Times Square for photo reference. We originally textured it with the actual billboards that were there, which included, I think, Mariah Carey was one of them. And we ended up having to change a lot of the images and name the companies on the billboards because of copyright issues.
Aki, she was the first fully 3D animated character in a feature film. They used a proprietary software called SQ Flesh, which was plugged into industry standard animation programs like Autodesk Maya to create the complex animations and character movements. Animators manually hand animated her facial expressions and body language, while other scenes were created using motion capture. They alternated between 3 different programs: Power Animator, Maya, and RenderMan. You've probably never heard of Power Animator, because I've never heard of it either.
Oh, brother!
Today we're used to the modern 3D programs like Blender, Cinema 4D, and Unreal Engine. But back in the day, they had Power Animator. Power Animator was a 3D modeling software back in the day, and it was used to create the water creature in the 1989 film The Abyss, and the T-1000 character in the Terminator 2. 2 groundbreaking movies with groundbreaking visual effects. Here's the thing. As much as I love the revolutionary CGI used in Final Fantasy: Spirits Within, the characters for the most part lacked emotions in their face. For example, this mofo in the movie had the same expression on his face no matter what happened. Like, come on. I know he's the villain of the film, but still, you can at least animate his eyebrows moving up and down. It's important for an audience because if they don't feel any emotion from the actor's performance, their experience and sense of belief is suspended during the entire movie. But you know what? In some of the scenes, the characters actually looked pretty realistic, especially with the skin details. But in other scenes, not so much. After the animation process of the movie was completed, they had to use a render farm of 960 computers to render each of the film's 141,964 frames. Each frame on average took 90 minutes to render. This took a total of 4 years. And yes, the rendering of the movie alone took 4 years. Think about it. After the production of the movie was done, they had to sit there and let those computers spit each frame of the movie out. That's how challenging this film was to make. To be fair though, the most expensive part of this film was making photorealistic human animation, which required a large team of animators and significant amount of time. The animation budget was estimated to be around 60 million, which is approximately 44% of the total budget. However, this movie ended up flopping. This resulted in the unfortunate demise of Square Pictures. Fun fact though, if the film was an actual success, Square would have used the 3D model of Aki in multiple different film projects where she would play different roles. I guess they were planning on making her the world's first virtual actress? And I get that, cause the 3D model of Aki consisted of more than 100,000 polygons, plus more than 300,000 polygons for the clothing alone, plus maybe 60,000 polygons for the hair. Simply changing her outfit would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Too bad this movie didn't do well. The marketing for this movie was pretty interesting. In conclusion, the technology used in the creation of this movie was absolutely revolutionary. But the movie itself was pretty dull. It lacked a lot of emotion for a lot of the scenes. But I applaud everyone who worked on this movie. They could have easily shot this movie in a live action setting with real actors for probably half the cost. But no, they wanted to risk it and do something that's never been done before, going to extreme lengths trying to get this film made. This film may not have succeeded in the box office, but it did achieve the title of being the first full CG, photorealistic feature film with human characters. And I think that's something to be proud of. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. It's been your boy RJ, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.